You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. 1 month of advertising starts at $200. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Hello, everyone. We are back. I'm here with Malissa Crawford. Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
You are about to make everyone's, I think, school year richer, not just the day, because you have some great insight. Because you're a school therapist, you've been doing this a long time. You have your own business, True Mental Wellness, and I want to talk about going back to school and the stress and emotional distress, I suppose you tell me, that kids are going through now. And I feel like when you go through it, you kind of feel like it's normal. And someone told me on this show, like, it's not, we're used to it, but it's not normal. Do you want to talk about that?
Absolutely. Stress is to some degree normal. But we have to remember now, as we are going back to school, that we are coming off of a summer break.
Mm-hmm.
And during summer break, more times than not, we are not sticking to our normal routines.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to pack it, as parents and guardians are trying to pack it and get everything in within the 2.5 months of downtime, which this year I think most school districts summer break was a lot shorter.
Yeah, how come?
Well, a lot of them was readjusting to like new schedules and going on a new type calendar year, which centers around more of almost being like a year-round type schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So it cut the summer breaks short. So there we have it, trying to pack everything into not, maybe not 9 weeks, but more like 6.5, 7 weeks for most districts in this area. So you talk about trying to travel, trying to relax, trying to shop, trying to see relatives, all that good stuff packed into such a short time.
And then you're just getting used to that schedule after abruptly stopping, and now you have to get ready to go back into it. And
it's time to start back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that one of the reasons why maybe year-round schools like work and people do that, so you don't have such like jarring times away?
I think so. I absolutely think that it works. And I think that it helps retain information for like the students, what they learn.
Mm-hmm.
They're not out as long, but you still get those wonderful breaks. Like in October, you may get, like a week, a longer fall break.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get your Thanksgiving break. So it's not a lot of difference between like what we have done before.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the stress level of kids and if that has increased or if there's just more of an awareness now? Do you know?
I think, honestly, that children have always had a stress.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we were forced, per se, during COVID to kind of zone in and on it a little bit more. Because although, my kid may get up in the morning late, stressed about, what they're going to dress, how they're going to pack lunch, if they're going to eat breakfast, trying to be on the bus or on the ride to school, we typically just did this as a routine, did what we had to do, got them off to the school building. But I think back during COVID, the parents were seeing a little more of that. Like, I have to still get them up, get them ready, get them breakfast, and sit with them instead of sending them, to a building and just going about our merry way. So I do think that we were able to start noticing some difference in our children. And that stress, that they are stressed.
Yeah.
It may not be a stress that looks like the adult stress, but it's still their stress.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone told me once, we were talking about like comparing stress or hard, like everybody's hell is hot.
Right.
And I think that's a really good comparison when you're talking about kids, because they only know what they know,
Right.
and it can be stressful. Can you talk about what you do as a school therapist and how you help the kids in the school?
As a school therapist, my role is a little different than a school counselor. A school counselor, which I am also certified school counselor, their job was the 3 domains of the child: social, emotional, academic, and world of work. So that was the 3 things that the school counselor focused on. But even with the social emotional piece, it was just baseline. Maybe the student is crying and just not having a good day, or I just got up this morning, just didn't work out, and they kind of try to sit with them briefly, talk them through, and get them back to class. As a school therapist, I do a little more in detail. I like to call it work. Like trying to understand is the stressor just like it happened this one time, they had a bad morning, or is this something that is persistent? So we do a little more of, if it's something that is lasting symptoms for more than 2 weeks, let's have a discussion about what the symptoms look like, when they began. And as a school therapist, you get to tap into that social and emotional level a little deeper, or dive into like it a little deeper than the school counselor. So it goes a little more in depth as a school therapist. And of course, as a school therapist, you have to be a licensed person, and you diagnose and document. That's what I like to tell people. School therapy versus school counselor, it requires a different type documentation and a diagnosis more times than not, so that you know what we're working with. Disorders or diseases with the children, and we can kind of name it and goal set it, plan it out, treatment, how we're going to fix it. So just a little bit more in depth than what the school counselor is able to do.
Are therapists common in schools, or do most schools have counselors?
All schools, public schools in the state of South Carolina, have school counselors.
Okay.
That is something that comes through the South Carolina Department of Education. School therapists can either be contracted in with a school district, or there are some school districts, particularly Rock Hill School District, Fort Mill School District. I think Lancaster County now has a number of mental health therapists or school therapists in the schools.
Wow.
So they are more common now after the COVID spell, inside district people, than what we had seen previously.
As a kid who grew up seeing the counselor a lot, because there was a lot of chaos happening at home, but there was also chaos happening at school. So I kind of want to talk about that too, like what maybe parents could be looking at, because sometimes I suppose from your angle, you're maybe looking at what's happening at home, but there's so many things that can happen at school that the kids don't tell the parents about. So are there things that parents can be looking for, that maybe they're being bullied, or things that are happening at school that shouldn't be?
I always say the best way to kind of stay on top of that type stuff is communication. And it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be scripted. Just more of trying to have a daily conversation with your child. How was your day? Tell me what happened in PE class. What did you enjoy? What didn't you, or what did you dislike? Is there anything that I can do as a parent to make it better? Just feeling comfortable enough to have conversation. And it doesn't have to be this, big worded conversation. It's just daily conversation about how was your day? What did you like? What did you dislike? Is there anything you want to do differently? How can I help you focus so that you can have a better day tomorrow? Encouraging your children to reach out to the school counselor. They're in the buildings for a reason, and they want to help. So reaching out to the school counselor, if you feel like my son has come home the last 4 days and such happened in the classroom, and I'm not sure, reach out to the teacher, of course. And because teachers don't know and they can't see everything, and we can't expect for them to. That is where that piece comes from, having that communication piece with your child at home. And, like I said, reaching out to the teacher, reaching out to the school counselor, just to say, he's come home for the last 4 days, or she's come home for the last 4 days and upset about such and such. Is there anything that I can do? Is there anything we can do different? Just trying to keep everybody looped in, I think, is the key.
As a kid who went through that and needed your services, I was afraid to tell people. So what about like advice for kids who are afraid to go to an adult because something's happening, maybe from an adult at home or kids at school? Like, it can be intimidating, right? To like go to someone and if it's a counselor or a therapist, they've never talked to that person before. So what's some advice for kids?
I guess the biggest advice, trying to get them to understand we can't help you if we don't know. And that we are in schools, which should be a safe place, meaning we are safe people. So trying to get them to know that we can come in, we can have conversation, and within, depending upon what we talk about the rules of confidentiality, and most of us are upfront. This is what will cause me to have a conversation with your parent. Just believing that we're safe people, and that we're there to help you feel better, and we want you to feel safe and to be happy, because this is school. The school building in itself is where they spend most of their times. We want these to be happy times and good times and peaceful times. So let the adults be able to help you with that. Knowing that we're safe people. Try to find your safe person so that we can make this a good experience for you.
Yeah, that's so smart. Find someone that you are comfortable with and you feel safe with. And if that is not the counselor or the therapist at first, at least you have that stepping stone, and that safe person can go and talk to you or whomever is responsible for the next step.
Absolutely. Sometimes you may not, because you don't know. You may not know the school counselor or the school therapist. Maybe your safe person might be your teacher. Maybe it may be your PE teacher or your music teacher, but just finding a safe place or a safe person in your safe place of school.
Are you excited for this upcoming school year?
I am. I'm always excited.
Yeah.
I think I'm entering year number 19.
Wow.
And this week I can say Happy New School Year. It's just kind of my thing. And I want this to continue to be a happy place, so that I can do what I need to do for the children that I serve. And if I'm getting to a place where I'm not happy, I probably need to find something else to do, because this should be a happy place.
Yeah.
School should be happy.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of the work you do?
Probably just making children feel safe, making adults feel safe. Because a lot of times in the school counseling or the school therapist position, we work with the staff as well to an extent. And I just want everybody to be their best self. So me helping you get to whatever your best self looks like for you is what makes me enjoy what I do.
Yeah. Now, okay, so we talked about kids, and we also talked a little bit about adults, and you work with adults, specifically employers, which I love your angle on this. Can you tell everybody what you do with adults?
I also own my own practice, as you said before, true mental wellness counseling and consulting, and I do gear through my private practice more toward adults. I do individual work. I'm moving into group work, but I'm also adding the facet of trying to help businesses help their employers get and become more healthy. Because my thing is, just because I am, let's just say, a counselor or a therapist, and I go to work in that building to do my job, if I'm having issues or I'm stressed about things at home, I can't perform at my best. I can't perform at 95 to 100%. So I'm now incorporating into my private practice, doing business, trying to build leadership and talk to the leadership people about how we can make the workplace more healthy by making sure that we checking in with our employees
Yeah.
because they're human first and they are parents first and they are children, somebody's children, maybe helping with aging parents first. And if you're not making sure that they're in a healthy place, I think it deters what they do on the job. I do EAP work, which is like employee assistance program work. And I do a crisis pieces for some of the EAP companies. And I went to I'll just tell you, a grocery store in Columbia about 3 weeks ago. And it was a grief. They wanted me to come in and be a grief therapist, grief support. One of their employees had, they didn't say it, but I'm pretty sure he committed suicide. And all of the signs were there. When I listened to all of his colleagues, first of all, everybody, and I have met with probably 35 people. He was a beautiful person, a beautiful soul. They talk about how he came to work on his days off. He was there for everybody. But in the last 2 weeks, he just was not himself. And when I listened to them, I guess because I have a trained ear, he had all the signs. Of course, I didn't say that to them because I didn't want them to know that.
Yeah.
But it kind of gave me a kicker to say, oh my God, if I could just get in with some businesses, I could save somebody's life because he had every sign possible.
I remember kind of when I was first starting out, maybe after college, the advice of like, leave your home at the door when you walk to the office, and those are two separate worlds.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that? Have you ever heard? Yeah, I'm sure you have, which is why you're in the job you are in. Can you want to talk about that? And obviously, you kind of already did, of how sort of ridiculous that is, and why it's important to now bring those two together, because they really are. It's the same person doing both of those jobs.
Absolutely, because I wish it was that easy. I wish it was easy that this morning my car wouldn't start, or as I was coming here, I was in traffic. I wish it was easy that I could just drop that at the door before I crossed the threshold into my office. But unfortunately, as human beings, it's very hard for us to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that employers need to understand, like, we are people first. I can't be my best self when my child was crying this morning and he was giving a temper tantrum, and I am just stressed on 10 before I get there. Like, you can't always turn that off.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't know if someone was diagnosed with an illness last night in the family, or a pet dog. Like, there's so many things that go into what you bring into a workplace every day, and there has to be some compassion for that.
Absolutely. Like, I like to tell a lot of my clients that we are not computers. We cannot just compartmentalize. I woke up late this morning and I was stuck in traffic, and now I'm walking in and, my boss is standing, chewing me out. And I just, we just you can't separate it.
Yeah.
That's just, unfortunately, that is not how the human body and brain works.
Yeah. What kind of, can you talk, like, maybe high level a little bit about what you do with the employers to bring them down to reality of what working is like?
I actually had a session last week. Sometimes I think part of the problem is that we expect, even as the employee, to understand and know, everything. And that's not true, because I worked with someone last week and she was like, I had not thought about that. My focus was them coming into work, getting the job, completed. And she was like, I had not given thought to the individual and what a person goes through before they get here, and how maybe me being more mindful of that helps me be a better boss, and that will in turn help them do their best work. So, I think it's just sometimes educating and remembering, trying to, teach the boss or the supervisor that this is what we have to remember. Because at the end of the day, they're humans as well. Like, we all are just humans and trying to do the best that we can do.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to work, do you remember Borders Bookstore? Do you remember that store?
Yes.
I worked there for a long time, and I went in college and a little after. And I remember when, like, the district managers would come around and everyone would get really nervous. And I would go up to them and I'd talk to them and make them laugh, whatever. And people were like, how are you not nervous? And I used like, I would go, they have bosses too. Like they're just people and they're just here working and they don't want to get in trouble either. So like we need to start communicating on like a real person level. And I think that will help people understand what other people are going for, not putting people on pedestals or looking down on them, that we are actually just working together for something.
Yeah, human to human.
Yeah, weird, huh?
Yeah, it is human to human.
Yeah, it
At
really,
the end of the day.
yeah, yeah. How can people connect with you, get working with you, and learn more about you?
You can find me on my website, www.truementalwellnesscc.com. You are more than happy to reach out to me via Facebook. My contact telephone number is 980-315-5834.
Well, I'm just putting it all out there. Your address is what?
Actually, I am virtual. I'm serving
Nice.
in the job coaching or employment coaching. I can do that worldwide.
Mhm.
But in the areas, I'm licensed as a therapist in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Florida as a telehealth therapist.
Okay.
I have an office in the Waxhaw area and the Charleston area because I'm still trying to kind of find myself, you know, where I'm supposed to be.
Mhm.
So, but I'm reachable and I'm there to help.
Okay, good. And she's a fantastic dresser. So if nothing else, show up for the fun outfits, you know? Thank you so much for being here. I also want to talk to you after because I think I have another really good podcast for you to go on. So we'll be right back after this, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
In this world of innovation, would you rather have an old, outdated flip phone or a brand new iPhone? A horse and buggy carriage or the newest luxury hybrid? A dial-up router with your AOL account or a super fast Wi-Fi hotspot? With nutrition, what you have been using or taking up until now hasn't been bad. There's just something newer. We all appreciate advancements in science and technology. In the same way we seek the best and newest in our electronics, vehicles, and everyday conveniences, wouldn't you also want the best technology and newest innovation for your nutrition and supplementation? At the time, you may have had the best from what was out there and available. Now, there is something better and newer, more bioavailable, more convenient, better tasting, faster acting. It literally is the equivalent to getting an IV full of high-tech nutrients right into your bloodstream, without the needle, without the appointment, without being attached to anything for a specific length of time. Simply pop these tasty, all-natural lozenges into your mouth and savor as they instantly start to absorb into your bloodstream through your mucous membranes. That's it. And with the added benefit of negative ions, in other words, energy, there isn't anything else out there on the market like it. Now is the time to switch to the next improvement and innovation in health and nutrition. It's time for advancement. It's time for better. It's time for APL Go and our rapid botanical DNA drops.
Well, hello. That's one of the lines in that theme song, and I think about that every single time. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, you know how sometimes life gives you little clues and nods and like, hey, you're doing the right thing, or hey, you did the right thing. I got one of those this morning, and it just made me so appreciative of having this show, having this program, having all of you watching every day, and really, truly, y'all are allowing me to live my dream. And so I just wanted to say thank you for watching and supporting the show. Speaking of supporting, our guest on Monday, Ella Clark, bought us some coffees. Thank you so much, Ella. We appreciate it so much. And you can, we're going to play it again. No, you can also buy me a coffee and support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/makeyourdayricher. And you can help make the show bigger and better every day. What else do we have going on today? I get to go to the dentist. I think people either love the dentist or hate the dentist. And I am a lover of the dentist. I love the scraping. I love the pulling. I love everything about it. I love. And so I get to go do that today. Tomorrow I'll probably come and tell you that I have 19 cavities and that they have to have a root canal. But usually I love going to the dentist. So let me know if you love going to the dentist, because I feel like nobody's either like, it doesn't matter to me. You either love it or you hate it. Did you see our new commercial at the beginning of the show? You can now advertise on this here program. If you want a commercial, if you want a shout out on the commercial, your logo, whatever you got going on, make sure you can go to makeyourdayricher.com/advertising and join the party. What else? Oh yes, Stacey Andon, the lovely Stacey Andon, who I edit her podcast. It's called Everyday Enchantment. She's been on the show. She has a new episode out this week, and it's all about life hacks. And so I wanted to show you a clip. It's available on YouTube, all the podcast platforms. Take a look. Everyday Enchantment with Stacey Andon.
And we rinse, lather, repeat. So if you want to not rinse, lather, and repeat in your life and really plant in to something new, like, ooh, it's safe to say no when I really don't want to. That in and of itself can take some time to practice, integrate, and implement in your life. The easiest way to do it is to add that space so that whatever is coming, 20 million emails, the dinner getting burned, you can set yourself and say, okay, how do I want to respond? And I absolutely love saying, how does love want to respond? Or what wisdom does she have for me? So you can get to those places and then take an action, or maybe not. Maybe you don't need to respond. It's a matter of processing whatever's coming up for you. So
we are filming the 100th episode of her podcast next week, and it's been an honor and a privilege to help her along that ride. So make sure you check out Everyday Enchantment wherever you get podcasts. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, the Inkpreneur. Hello, did you all see the show on Monday? The Inkpreneur Summit, November 1st and 2nd in Winston-Salem. It's all for you writers, authors, creatives out there. It is a one-stop shop for the author to come and find anything from sell your books to get headshots to learn how to market, learn how to publish. It's going to be a great time. They've asked me to come and do a speech there, along with some podcasting, there's all kinds of stuff happening that weekend, and I'm thrilled, and I'm hoping that y'all will come and join us. So here's a little commercial, little ad on how you can join us.
Are you an independent creative looking to take your career to the next level? Whether you're an author, illustrator, or thinking about getting into this industry, it's time to step into the spotlight at the Inkpreneurs Summit 2024. This November 1st and 2nd in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we're bringing together the best minds in the publishing industry for 2 days of unparalleled learning and intimate networking. From hands-on workshops with industry experts to interactive networking mixers, you'll get the tools, connections, and insights to turn your creativity into a thriving business. And that's not all. Our Fresh Ink Pavilion is the place for new and emerging authors to showcase and sell their books, right in front of passionate readers and industry pros who are ready to support your journey. Plus, meet our incredible lineup of speakers sharing your secrets to success in publishing and beyond. Space is limited and early bird registration is available until September 30th. Don't miss out. Secure your spot today and get ready to elevate your creative career. Visit inkpreneursummit.com to register. Let's give your creativity the success it deserves. See you in Winston-Salem.
And if you go on the website, there's an extra 10% off. So go on there now, and then we'll see you in November. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all for today. On tomorrow's show, we've got Brian Clayton. That's who's on the show tomorrow. He's the co-founder of the Green Pal app, which is a really cool app that I think makes everybody stay richer because it helps you with lawn care. And it's almost like, I don't know, Angie's List or, any of those, like go on and find a cleaner, find a whatever. And it's lawn care, which I think is just amazing because there's so many people out there doing it. And who do you trust? And it gets you all in one spot. It's also great for people in that industry because it's so hard to market that industry. So he's on tomorrow. We're going to talk all about building his business and what he has learned. He's never built an app before, and he's like really great conversation we're going to have with Brian tomorrow right here. I also met, speaking of people coming up on the show, I met yesterday this musician, Joe Davi. Oh, let me not cover his stuff or the QR code in case you want to hit right here. Joe Davi, there. And he's been on tour throughout the country. His last 2 shows are this weekend in North Carolina. One is Sunday at Jabina Cafe. And so I invited him on the show. He's going to come on Friday to talk all about music and the shows, which means we have to bump my dad. Oops. And so my dad's episode is going to be next week. So those of you who are excited to hang out with my dad, he's going to be on next week. But my dad's episode is going to be really good. He's been battling cancer for over 30 years, and I wanted to talk to him about how he keeps making his day richer with everything that he's gone through, the struggle he has gone through over the last 30 some years. So that'll be coming up next week. All right, I'm over time. I usually try to get this to a half an hour, and we are at 31 minutes. So I have to go. All right. We will see you tomorrow with Brian Clayton. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.